So on to the news, lots of big stories. We'll start with a little bit of relevant gambling news. Sports betting news in D.C. D.C. was going to have to wait, but it appears that we have come close to getting budget approval for mobile expansion for sports betting in D.C. It was supposed to go live yesterday, but it seems like we are getting to the point where the mayor has officially signed the budget, and that will then allow for approval on sports betting expansion, particularly with a couple of apps, BetMGM and Caesars. More expansion to come. We will cover that in detail with Pat Evans later this show at 11:30. On to the festivities that I mentioned previously. Last night at Globe Life Field, we had Teoscar Hernandez, of all the guys that we could have expected to win the home run derby. He comes away with the victory, the first Dodger ever to win the home run derby. And it was a tight one, right down to the wire with Bobby Witt. We have a clip here of Teoscar talking about what was going through his mind as Bobby Witt Jr. was hitting bombs.
Oh, man, I was nervous. Not when I see that ball, the last one. When he still got 2 outs and one homer to tie it with me. And then the last shot that he got, it was a little, too close to tie it. But thank God it didn't win out, so super happy.
So there's Hernandez, the home run derby champ. Certainly not the name that a lot of you had on your board. Gunnar Henderson was a popular choice, but Teoscar was over 10-1 odds, 10-1, 14-1. You saw those odds move around a little bit, so congrats to all those that hit the little bit of a long shot last night. The game obviously will be played tonight. Skeens against Burns going against one another. We'll get to that in a couple of moments. A big story in the NBA. James Dolan comes out after the massive approval, 11 years, $76 billion in new media rights deals. James Dolan fires off a salvo declaring that he's not happy with the way the revenue is being shared. As you can see the news there from Adrian Wojnarowski. In a letter to the Board of Governors obtained by ESPN, Knicks owner James Dolan levels continued criticism on the revenue-sharing policies. He, quote, "The NBA has made the move to an NFL model. We are well on our way to becoming a one-size-fits-all, characterless organization. Just remember, we did this on the backs of owners like Jerry Buss." So despite the fact that the owners are making more money than ever before on media, despite the fact that his players, in one instance at least, have taken a significant potential pay cut in Jalen Brunson, sacrificing $113 million in earnings if he were to sign next season, James Dolan still comes out and criticizes the revenue-sharing policies. He feels like his hands are tied, particularly on his ability to monetize local media and beyond. But that's the way the NBA is pushing. They are pushing for more exposure on a national level to help increase audience and clearly drive sponsorships and advertising for the network. So moving on to additional big news. We mentioned the All-Star game tonight. That will go off this evening at Globe Life Field. You have Paul Skeens on the bump of the Pittsburgh Pirates going up against Orioles standout Corbin Burns. They will be the starters. Odds for that game right now a little bit quirky in that the National League is laying a run and a half on the run line, but they are plus 100 on the money line. The AL minus 118 on the money line. The run total, you heard Ben and possibly Donnie talking about it, the total right now just at 7.5. 7 of the last 10 games have gone to the under in the All-Star game. Obviously pitching dominant. Plenty of other lines out there, props for you. Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge to win the All-Star game MVP at plus 800 and plus 950 respectively. Big news in international soccer. For those of you like me that watched as much as you could of the Euros and of Copa America, big news on the manager front. Obviously, we know USMNT looking for a new manager. Could it possibly be Gareth Southgate? He has resigned as England manager after 8 years with the English Football Association. It was thought that he may stay on through the World Cup, but after 8 years with the team, he's coached the third most games, managed the third most games in English team history. It was due to expire. The contract was due to expire in December, and he decided to move on. So he guided England to the 2018 World Cup semis, the Euro 2020 final, and now obviously the World Cup quarters in 2022, and then the final just the other day. As somebody that watches quite a bit of it, extremely talented team. His results historically compare very well to other managers, but there's still a sense of frustration that he didn't get the most out of what is a very talented world-class team at certain positions. We'll see if the U.S. is interested in speaking to him, but it's certainly something that'll be bandied about. Staying in soccer news, Colombia Football Federation President Ramon Jesurun arrested at Copa America final. There was a massive amount of chaos as people were trying to enter the stadium. We saw that clips over and over again. Parts of Hard Rock Stadium destroyed, and there were tussles with authorities, security and police alike. And I think amidst all the confusion, this happened. He was with his son. There was quite a scuffle, and I think it's going to be up to authorities to sort out who was in the wrong and who was actually engaging in criminal activity, which there was much of at Hard Rock Stadium. On to the grass court, hard court, as we approach the U.S. Open in just about 6 weeks. Tennis phenom Carlos Alcaraz, fresh off of his Grand Slam Wimbledon victory, will get a Netflix documentary. That seems to be the flavor of the day. They've done documentaries in golf and tennis a number of different times, and Alcaraz will get his own specific Netflix documentary. I'm of the opinion that it's a little early in his career to put out a career documentary, but it might be pretty fascinating to see how he got to this point at such a young age. Moving on to football, and we will talk football in the next segment as well with Vinny Iyer from the Sporting News, but a few signing news, contract issues. T. Higgins will play on the franchise tag. They were unable, the Bengals and T. Higgins were unable to reach an agreement on an extension. I think that likely puts him obviously at a good salary for this season, but then beyond that puts him into the free agency pool. Very unlikely that he would come back to the Bengals after that. Browns signed Dustin Hopkins to a 3-year extension, making him one of the NFL's top 5 highest-paid kickers in 2023. He made a franchise record 33 of 36 field goal attempts, including a career-long 58-yard field goal, and he also set an NFL record with 5 consecutive games in which he made a field goal of at least 50 yards. So in a division that's this tight, you're playing in bad weather at points later in the season, they have a kicker that they want that can bombs away from over 50. Good signing for them, and obviously a big windfall for Dustin Hopkins. Calvin Johnson will be inducted into the Pride of the Lions, so the Lions Hall of Fame. It obviously signifies that, look, Dan Campbell has done a lot culturally, and I'll throw Brad Holmes, the GM, in with him. They've done a lot culturally in order to change this team, not just from we're a sad sack losing organization to we can win playoff games and we can potentially get to a Super Bowl, but mending fences that were broken by the previous regime. Ownership has remained the same for many decades, but it was clear that tussles with Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson were making them look amateurish, and I'm glad that they're in a position now where somebody like Calvin Johnson is back in the fold and celebrating with them.